About 4 years ago. Hold on, was it 4 years ago? Stug build. Stug build 2019. No, 3 years ago, I made a crucial error in judgment. I decided to review the Stug. And to put this mildly, it was a soul-crushing experience. But hey, you guys liked it. You guys loved it. You guys wanted more of it. Hey, Leyza, review the Stug again. Come on, it'll be fun. For us. But I vowed, then and there, that I will never touch this godforsaken weapon ever again. Unless, of course, Daddy gets paid. Which brings me to today's sponsor. Join me in thanking Raid Shadow Legends for making this review happen. Raid Shadow Legends is one of the most popular and famous games in the world, bringing you true console-level experience in the palm of your hand, right on your phone. Explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. With hundreds of artifacts to equip and over 600 champions blessed with unique skills, you can build your team, develop your champions, and raid your way. I've been playing Raid for a while now, and these are some of my favorite champions. Gala, she's absolutely fantastic. A masterful single-target nuker who was built from the ground up to overcome enemy defense champions. Each of her skills can ignore a portion of enemy defense. Her hard-hitting second skill ignores 50% of it, and that's before you pair her with a champion that can place defense decreases. Her second trick is a clever use of shields to give her a bit more longevity. As for the gorgeous Queen Ava, she is a boss in the campaign, but she's also an amazing champion if you manage to find her in a shard. She has some nice utility. She applies increased attack buffs on herself, she puts out heal reduction with her default skill, and she can block revive with a pretty strong single target attack. This month is huge for Raid. They just released a brand new faction, the Sylvain Watchers, with some amazing new champions. We're talking Forest Elves, Ents, Druids, Fays, they're all here, and I cannot wait to summon all of them to play with. And if that's not enough, Raid's got a full lineup of events, along with a new season of the Forge Pass, where you can get your hands on some of the most powerful gear the game has ever seen. Also, if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can get your exclusive rewards in Raid right now. And if you haven't started playing Raid yet, click my link in the description or scan my QR code here on the screen, you'll get unique bonuses worth $30. Yeah, we're talking about a free epic champion, Aina, 200,000 silver, 1 energy refill, and 1 XP boost, and 1 ancient shard, so you can summon awesome champions as soon as you get in the game. All this treasure will be waiting for you right here. Simply click on the chest icon in the upper right hand of the screen, and I'll catch you guys in Raid. Let's begin by checking out how this weapon functions without any mods equipped, and for that, just a couple of our regular free shots. And please notice I have gathered everybody today. I got yourself the Corrupted Heavy Goons, I got yourself some here Moa from the, the Corpus faction, you got yourself some Ancient Healer representing the Infested faction, and because you guys, some of you can't shut up about it here, Exo Godstead, whatever. Now, the Stug, yes, yeah. The Stug is a secondary weapon in Warframe that is dedicated to veterans of the game, to hardcore veterans of the game that have nothing left to do with their resources or their time. You simply want to do something out of the ordinary, something that most people haven't done before, something that you would never thought you would have done in Warframe, so this is who this weapon is for. It's not a new player friendly weapon, it's not technically a weapon for anybody per se, it's just for the mastery points, but if you're willing to put in the effort and actually pay attention to see how the weapon actually functions and how you can use that to your advantage, you can make something pseudo-useful out of it, okay? Once upon a time it was actually useful because you could deal several damage to you, it would explode, the balls would explode, and you would get your chroma buff on. But hey, these saw to that one, didn't they? That's not important. What is important, this one fires a projectile, it's an automatic trigger, you got 20 magazine. Now these balls will be sticking to surfaces, to enemies, to the ground, to whatever, and the reload is on the decent side. Now the projectiles of course have travel time in this horrible dropping arch. If you're gonna be shooting the same point, the balls will stack up in the same point. You see that? Making one big ball which will kapow! After about 2 seconds delay, something of the sort. Alternatively, you can use the weapon secondary fire to charge up one big ball. So charge up your ball using your secondary, well, your balls. Technically it would be balls because you're charging multiple balls with your secondary fire, so that's up to 6 balls. That's a lot of balls, and then when you release, it's actually gonna discharge. I'm sorry. It's what it does. So you don't necessarily need to charge 6 balls. For example, if you just want to charge 2 balls, you just release after 2 balls have charged, and you keep an eye on your ammo, see how much ammo that has drained. Of course, the damage will be proportional. So bear that one in mind. What else is there to say? So projectile flight speed, explosion. Yes, these are explosive things. You got 2 damage instances. 1, the ball slapping your target like so. And 2, the actual explosion. It's got an explosion for about 3 meters. We'll look more into stats just a second from now, or 15. And that's pretty much it when it comes to usability and functionality. Now, my friends, it does have a bit of a secret which I discovered recently, and because of the changes from 2018, was it 2018 when I reviewed it last, to today, it actually can be decent, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Now, we're gonna jump into the endgame maxed out setup because, like I said, it's pointless to actually mod this one with normal mods. I don't know why you would, but let's take a look at stats for just a second. Accuracy, we don't care. Ammo maximum is pretty good. Ammo pickup is good. I mean, they didn't care about this one. I was like, yeah, whatever. Just take away the self damage so they can't have fun with crowd. That's not important. Fire rate of 4, magazine of 20, noise alarming, reload of 2 seconds, which again is decent. Riven disposition, it's maxed the F out because only nutballs play with this one. Like me and probably like you after this review. See that? I didn't mean to write. Anyway, trigger automatic, and the damage by default is gonna be corrosive. So if you wanna increase the corrosive on the weapon, you're gonna have to remake the elemental combo within the weapon. For example, if you just put in electricity, it's not gonna wash in by default, okay? It's an unwashable. And that's pretty much it. But tell me, my friends, what don't you see on this stat screen? A lot actually you don't see on the stat screen, and for that you're gonna have to go over to the wiki or simply take my word for it. Like I told you before, there's 2 damage instances. 1, the stupid blob making contact with the target, which does a massive 4 damage. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it, Cupcake. That's it, 4 freaking damage. And it also has critical chance and critical damage. Now, I shit you not. 5% critical chance and 1.5x critical multiplier. Which sounds terrible, but by today's standards, we can make it work. Because then again, you can throw everything at it at the kitchen sink and say it works. Doesn't actually make it so, but you can say that it does. So the blob impact is 4 damage. On the plus side, the blob explosion is 75, and 75 is a respectable value. Critical chance and critical multiplier is again 5% with 1.5x. Now the status chance, because believe it or not, this is where you make or break the Stug, even though that sounds stupid. The blob impact status chance is 0. Nada, nothing, bras. But the blob explosion sits at a magnificent 10 status chance. 10% status chance for the actual explosion. Why the frick is that important, dude? You'll see just a tad later when I explain it. This would be a setup, okay? I can't say an endgame setup, and yes, you will see how you can actually use this one in Steel Path, and yes, it does actually work without throwing everything in the kitchen sink at it. But let me present. You got flat damage with Hornet Strike because since we're not going to be making use at least initially at a critical chance and critical damage, we got to go for a whole lot of flat damage. The more you add of the same multiplier, the more flat damage you add, like Hornet Strike and Secondary Merciless, the less you get out of it. There's no diminishing returns in Warframe. There's no such bloody thing. Math has diminishing returns. Now, Stug Satyata, damage multi-shot. Multi-shot is important. Look at that, 306% damage, dude, without even a bloody negative. Lethal Torrent, fire rate, multi-shot. Pistol Pestilence, Frostbite. So now we got viral and corrosive on the weapon. Galvanized Diffusion, because it's better than the normal one, and I will step all over my pride and use whatever I can, including a bloody Expel mod, a Bane mod, just to get this weapon to a not completely horrible state. And my option is going to be Gunslinger for fire rate. For fire rate, you can use this thing. Actually, you know what, this would be slightly smarter, because considering all the flat damage we have, you can go better with anemic agility like so. So 90% minus 15% of all the ton of flat damage we got, you're gonna be just fine. Now, on my next, I want you to notice there's nothing. There's nothing at my void schools or anything of the sort. I'm not gonna be using any bloody Warframe buffs, synergies, primary weapons, or whatever else buffs to actually make the weapon seem more powerful than it is. This is the Stug on its own 2 feet. Granted, with a Riven and max mods and everything, but still on its own 2 feet, right? I want you to take a look at these 3 corrupted heavy goons. I will treat them differently, and I want you to look at the difference. First, I will do what every sane person does in Warframe. Aim for the head, shoot. full magazine. That took... I would wager, you fantastic gentlemen, that is 3.2% of its health. What do you guys say, huh? What do you guys say? 3.2%? Yeah? Anyway? Yeah? 3.2% of its health. Now I will do the same to this guy. Wait, it's girl, actually, because these are girls. But I will simply change my approach to this one. Huh? What happened there? So tell me, my friends, where does the difference come from? Obviously, I'm spraying it from top to bottom, as you should. Why is this dealing more damage? Let's repeat that one more time, just to make sure you guys don't think it was a fluke. So I'm gonna go for a headshot. Magazine. That's it. Oh my god, that took... Oh, I think we're at 5% there. Huh? Am I being too optimistic? Yeah, about 5%. Now we're gonna treat this one differently. Spray it from top to bottom. Look at that. That took about 40% of itself, something of the sort. Because I didn't do a good enough job at spraying from top to bottom. The difference, my friends, is the following. Like I told you in the beginning, if you shoot the same place, the balls stack on top of each other and the damage gets increased. But the problem is, you get a single explosion. That means one single damage instance. That means a single chance for you to apply status effect to your targets. So in all actuality, if you want the Stug to not completely suck, what you want to do is not stack the bloody balls. What you want to do is make sure you spread them out as much as you can on your target. And that will maximize your damage. Like so. Pretty good, huh? Pretty good for a Stug, that is. And that's the secret when it comes to using the Stug. From this point onward, what you can do is simply rinse and repeat, and you'll get yourself those stacks from the arcanes, because if you don't, you're not really gonna be able to kill high-level targets. Now let's reset and try that one more time. Make sure to kill off a couple of easier targets, something like butchers, moas, whatever, first off, so you can get your secondary merciless and your multi-shot mod stacked, this being a galvanized setup and all whatnot, which will make it easier for you to take out heavy-duty targets such as corrupted heavy goons, exogag, and all whatnot. And as you can see, now spray, baby, spray from top to bottom. Try not to stack as much as possible. Don't stack because that means less chances of actually applying the status effect to your target. And as you can see, the Stug, realistically speaking, can take out high-level targets on its own 2 feet. No Warframe buffs, no synergies, no outside help whatsoever. Just pure white ball explosion fun. And that sounds stupid. And speaking of fun, yes, fun and Stug don't really go in the same sentence, but I'll be honest with you, I actually enjoyed learning how to spray targets like this, like kind of paint targets from top to bottom, because this is not a skill you normally use in Warframe, dear developer, if you're listening. Normally in Warframe, what you gotta do is, as with most shooters, maximize that headshot damage, go for a headshot, brah, get your headshots on. You don't really do stuff like this, now do you? Now, if you're gonna be seeing high-level targets, you will have some Warframe buffs. Yes, how can we maximize the damage on the Stug? You can try all sorts of weird synergies to cast this and then the other thing and prime with the stuff and then have 2 seconds of it actually working, or you can take a much simpler approach. Think of it this way. The hardest heavy-hitting weapons in Warframe are the weapons that can access most, if not all, the multipliers. The Stug can't really access a whole lot of them because it can access raw damage, which we got plenty of. It can access a faction multiplier, which we have. If it's gonna access critical chance and critical damage, we can use Harrow. Fantastic idea, yes. Yes and no, because Harrow gives you critical chance on headshot to 100%, body shot 50%, which isn't all that much. But it is an idea to simply mod, instead of an image agility, for example, some critical damage, and then get your critical chance with Arcane Avenger and Harrow. Why don't we try that one next, huh? Let's try that. For the sake of science and all whatnot. Don't you guys love science? What the hell? You don't want to... There you go. That will work just fine. And of course, we're going to be using Lord Harrow. Oh, don't worry. We're going to Steel Path. We're going. Just a tad later. Now, as I said before, we're going to be using Arcane... Wait, what build is this? Oh, this is my Thermal Thunder Harrow setup. Guys, if you never tried AoE God Harrow, he can actually clear ESO faster and, subjectively speaking, more satisfying than something like a Saturn. You can find a full demonstration build guide on my channel. But back to our sheep, we're going to be using something like so, Arcane Avenger on this one. As for the second Arcane, I mean, you can put even more raw damage, not that it would make a difference at this point. You can use something like Precision, but you know what? More is more, even though at this point it gives you only a tiny bit more. As for the companion, believe it or not, This is more important in this case because you need those vital procs like you need air. Get yourself the Panzer Vulpaphyla, which will get you those yummy procs. We're gonna be spawning in the targets like so. We're gonna unpause them so they can hit me and I can get my glorious buffs. One issue, however, they're gonna start fighting each other because I spawned everything. Why did I spawn everything? I don't know, I thought I exemplify everything. So there you go, we got everything spawned, and of course I needed some weaker targets to actually kill off for the buffs and all whatnot. Now Harrow's second ability will grant you fire rate as well as reload speed, his fourth ability, immunity to everybody, and then of course that critical chance if we manage to stack it, which we will. Keep in mind that for body shots, you're only really getting 50%. Look at that. Let me shoot ya. You gotta get yourself that faster travel time for these targets. How's this? How's this? Not too shabby, red crit. Is that the Exo Gag? Hey, Exo Gag, what's up? Is the Exo Gag taking damage? Not a whole lot of damage. Exo Gag down! Exo Gag! Almost done. Exo Gag down. Hey, we got the Exo Gag and all whatnot. When it comes to Warframe buffs, believe it or not, you're still gonna be getting more from Lady Mirage Prime. It's as simple as simply because she is that hella powerful, especially if your status chance and status applications are gonna be coming from the Panzer Vulpaphyla, you'll have no problem whatsoever. Plus, it's kinda cool to actually throw a whole lot of white balls upon enemies with the clones and all whatnot. So that's what we're gonna be showcasing first, essentially the same kind of idea. Mirage, however, doesn't really do a whole lot for your crit, my friends. Now, of course, you can use Arcane Avenger and all whatnot, but honestly, it's not really worth it. In this case, we're gonna be going back to the Eld fire rate with something like Gunslinger or Anemic Agility. Keep in mind that in the XL slot, it makes it a whole lot easier for you to aim if you're gonna be using something like Lethal Momentum, which is entirely optional. What else was there? Did I grab the Vulpi? Yeah, the Vulpi Panzer Vulpaphyla, not bad. We're gonna be spawning in the same enemies one more time for the Exo Gag. You guys wanna go straight for the Exo Gag? Yes, Mirage is more powerful. Activate her 4th ability for Empower, her 3rd ability for a massive damage increase, 840% Eclipse, which is a whole lot more than 840% damage, and her ever so lovely boom clones. Now, bombs away. Come on, that was pretty good. That was pretty good, especially for the Stug. There's the Exo Gag. There goes the Exo Gag. There should be a couple of more Exo Gag. I think I only spawned 4 or something of the sort. Exo Gag, ho! Gotta wait for the explosion, though. You can also try and use the secondary fire mode, but honestly, I found that one hella disappointing. I prefer to pepper my targets with a whole lot of white balls. I don't know, maybe it's a male thing. It might be a male thing. Now, of course, I know what you're saying, dude. Listen, brah, this is all well and good, but this is the simulacrum, man. This can't possibly actually work in Steel Path, can it? Hehehe, I'm glad you asked. Welcome to the Void, my friends. Now let's see what the Stug and Mirage Prime can do in Steel of the Path. So you got yourself the Steel Path modifiers. That means a whole lot of health, more, extra armor and level and all of that good stuff. So just a couple of balls are still enough to destroy a Bombard. 2 to 3 balls is enough to destroy a Butcher. We're talking about the lightweight targets. But let's see what it can do against something like double Corrupted Heavy Goons protected by a little Sentinel thing. Take a look at that. There's the damage. There's the damage. There's the damage. And there goes the Corrupted Heavy Goons. No problem whatsoever. Keep in mind, this is Mirage Prime we're talking about. So Mirage Prime, even though she deals a whole lot of damage when it comes to the survivability department, if you're not going to be shield gating, which I personally am not a fan of, you're not really going to have a whole lot of survivability. So do bear that one in mind. As for the Stug's performance, as long as you are willing to go down this route, you should be perfectly fine to take out heavy-duty, high-level targets like so. For Mirage Prime, when you stay in the shade, you get the damage mitigation, which is pretty significant, and when you don't stay in the shade and you come onto the light, like so, you will get that glorious damage buff, which completely destroyed that high-level target. And I do believe, my friends, that's pretty much it. Let's kill a couple of more targets and all whatnot. Nice explosion, nice explosion. When it comes to Warframe buffs, of course, there are a couple of more ways you can go about it. I found these, the standard ways, to be the most rewarding and clear-cut and to the point. Something that you don't need to fuss too much over to actually make work. And theoretically, you could clear the entirety of Steel Path, like so. Why would you do that? I don't know. I don't know. But if you do, you might go into clinical depression afterwards. So do bear that one in mind. My dear friends, I do believe that is pretty much it for today. As always, my name is Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe only if you enjoy the content. And if you got any feedback for me, I would love to read it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below if you want to suggest any particular type of content. For example, I would like to see this weapon build or the other weapon build, and so on and so forth. You can also catch me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. And if you love the content and you want to help us keep making it, consider supporting us via Patreon. But until next time, my friends, bye-bye. Yeah! Don't kill me, bruss! Don't kill me eyebrows easily! Come here. Where'd you go? Where'd you go? Oh, this is one of those fancy Eximus units. Look at that. Look at that. I must pray. Now you pray. And dead. I hate those stupid grenades. Really do a number on Mirage.